So thanks everyone for the time today. Once again, my name is Chuck Wood. I focus on product marketing for HPE SimpliVity. We're here today to share with you some exciting news on how HPE is making a bold announcement next week around a reimagining hyperconverged, focusing on software-defined, moving toward AI-driven. As you know today, this is motherhood and apple pie around customers moving toward a digital enterprise. They're constantly looking to accelerate everything from apps to data to innovation. But just to get into the meat of it, many customers today have seen the benefits of hyperconverged, making their lives easy. And it helps with what I call day zero, day one operations. And in terms of deployment, making it simple to manage, scaling in small increments to very large scale. These are all great things. But we posit there's still opportunities for improvement, even with the best hyperconverged products on the market. And HPE SimpliVity, we're very proud of what we've done today, along with the other solutions on the market. But we're thinking it's more about day two and beyond, and how are environments getting simpler to manage, especially in multi-site locations, avoiding application downtime and delays, and dealing with reactivity on how do you stand up apps. And plus, in a lot of systems, while they give you power in these agile environments, there's still a lot of knobs you have to turn to get the outcome you want. And there are challenges around forcing customers to scale in these co-provisioned compute and storage building blocks. So, and it's about also just down the road, 365 days down the road, how easy is your environment, even if you bought into hyperconverged. And we're going to challenge this within some new announcements we're making to get customers to rethink their HCI, their software-defined environment, to how it can be done more optimally. Many vendors and analysts are talking about this shift to AI-driven, and HPE is at the forefront here. It's beyond hardware-confined. Next gen with software-defined. We're seeing great benefits today around automation, on-demand, efficiency. But the next real goal is InfoSight and delivering AI-driven ops, self-running, self-healing, self-optimizing. And this slide shows it. This is, as you know, HPE with our intelligence portfolio circled around. InfoSight is really first, best, and only. And we've obviously announced this for our SimpliVity line, and as well as our broad portfolio in the storage line. So, and what I'm going to talk about is some specifics of what we're doing in the SimpliVity side. But this is really born out of innovation. As you know, InfoSight came through the Nimble acquisition, tremendous intellectual property where we monitor the install base, and there's a virtuous cycle where we can observe, learn, recommend, act, and predict and act on these and give it back to the customers in terms of a completely new experience for how they manage their infrastructure. And it's really a radically new model for enabling predictive support, enabling support and case management and wellness. And we'll talk about that. But before we do go into the news, we also want to share that we often talk to customers about what workload decisions do they need to make as they go pursue hyperconverged and other architectures. And the challenge we posit is customers need to find the right workload to run on the right architecture. How many virtual machines will be supported? How will application capacity grow over time? Are there physical space requirements? Are you dealing in an edge site where it's a retailer and every space square foot matters, so you can have large racks consuming IT space as one example? And then what are the SLAs around performance, uptime, recovery points objectives, recovery time objectives? We posit there's not one hammer that solves and addresses every nail. You need the right tool or the right solution for the given workload. And what we have on the market today is seeing customers pick choices for, do I go hyperconverged for this workload? Or do I use traditional storage architectures? Targeting these predictable workloads for hyperconverged, where you grow in these these stack-like building blocks. It's very good, but there's some environments where you may have latency-sensitive apps where you want to run bare metal, or you want to run with more compute, large amounts of compute relative to storage. So we're talking about simplifying this experience with the hyperconverged capabilities, not only in our traditional hyperconverged, but also in providing this capability, an HCI-like capability on a traditional external array style system. So what we have today from HPE is a unique portfolio, hyperconverged on the right side of the slide, disaggregated HCI on the left, but it's all managed by a uniform, simple, hyperconverged control plane. Think of this as vCenter. That's your steering wheel for managing your virtualized workloads today. That's what customers know and love and are familiar with. And we give them that experience independent of which platform or architecture they pick. As well, we power it with the global intelligence and InfoSight. So I'm pleased to announce with this announcement next week, we're going to be unveiling our new HPE Intelligent HCI portfolio, HPE SimpliVity on the right, serving the simplest HCI for your edge, robo, and multi-workload, general-purpose workload environments, where you really want a hyper-converged, all-in-one building block, and Nimble, HPE Nimble Storage, dHCI, on the left side of the slide, showing, addressing this disaggregated HCI, but giving you the simplicity with HCI brings with flexibility to scale for your business-critical workloads. And our message is around leave no VM behind. We can address every VM workload with our unique architectures, giving customers better choices to run their data centers. So on to the SimpliVity news. What we're talking about is over the past several years, as you know, SimpliVity has helped hundreds of customers, thousands of customers worldwide to simplify IT through our automation efficiency, our revolutionary data efficiency, as you know, powering their backups, allowing them to rapidly recover. And now with these new enhancements, especially with InfoSight, we're bringing full intelligence to the stack. This isn't an incremental add. We've architected it across the stack with InfoSight, and I'll talk about the benefits. Full lifecycle management now through some new capabilities, new improvements to data protection to extend protection across the enterprise, and overall give a new experience for delivering virtual workloads. And it's premised on these core pillars around intelligently simple, hyper efficient, edge optimized with ability to cloud connect. So what do we mean by this? So on the intelligently simple, how are we delivering intelligently simple capabilities? First, it's an all-in-one system, as you know. We collapse the stack, remove the silos on this elegant HPE ProLiant building block, one of the most secure platforms on the market to deliver virtualized workloads. And we've tightly coupled the SimpliVity design. It's uniquely engineered. Since it's co-developed by HPE, on the hardware, we marry it elegantly with our software stack, giving the customers a unique all-in-one experience that's intelligently simple. It's global unified management delivered to the VMs. We hear time and time again, customers love the fact through vCenter, they can manage their federation of sites and clusters from one point, be it in Anaheim, I can manage my federation across the country or even across the globe, one GUI to make their environments easy to manage, including all the VM backup policies. For day 2 and beyond, we solve a lot of problems around our zero downtime refresh cycles. This is an attribute of HCI coupled with our intelligence. You can start with as few as 2 of our nodes in a HA cluster, a +1 for an offsite, and you can add as your needs grow and as budgets open up, more incremental nodes, and then evacuate VMs from those existing nodes and repurpose them. So you get this virtuous cycle of ability to repurpose your infrastructure while growing and satisfying the business needs. Automated tuning is provided through our optimal design, of performance, efficiency, and resiliency without knobs or trade-offs. Our design, as you know, with our inline dedupe compression optimization, it's always on. You never have to pay the penalty for it, and you get all the benefits. We're resilient in our RAIN over RAID architecture, and we give you this unparalleled performance by reducing I/O with a combination of all-flash and hybrid nodes. And now we're simplifying the end-to-end experience even further with one-click cluster upgrades. So this is new, and we'll be bringing this out to customers in our 3.7.10 release. Tim Antinowitz may have already talked to you about this. So this is a simple way to upgrade. I have a slide on it, as well as the InfoSight capability, predictive analytics and support automation, and much, much more. So on the all-in-one, this shows it. You've seen this before. We give customers one platform, one partner, one IT generalist to manage it all. Silos are collapsed, eliminating complexity, streamlining ops, one throat to choke, one back to pat, and because of the simplicity and all-in-one nature, and it really empowers VM admins to do more while saving on CapEx, as well as on acquisition, as well as on running costs, on space, power, cooling, maintenance, licensing, et cetera. So on to the news. One of the key announcements will be around global GA of InfoSight for HPE SimpliVity, and some of the capabilities here, which is truly game-changing. This is unique, allowing customers to shift from simple HCI to intelligent HCI, powered by InfoSight and global intelligence. In the first release, we'll allow customers to benefit from predictive resource planning, global visibility across their sites and data centers, as well as support case automation and wellness. So some of the examples are shown there. We'll predict when a node or a host is about to be full based on VMs and the associated backups on there that we uniquely can have visibility into. And we'll give them forewarning 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road to give it based on the trend and predictive growth rates they're seeing. We'll predict when they're going to run out of space to let them plan for a proper refresh. As well, we give visibility into top VM consumers. And the other examples you see there as well. But for the sake of time, I'll sum it up with what one of our customers who's been evaluating InfoSight says it here. He states it quite simply. They save time, they gain peace of mind with InfoSight on SimpliVity. And they're getting great visibility into the VMs, associated backups, how cluster nodes are filling up or they're balanced, and give them visibility which otherwise would require third-party tools or a lot of time going into each vCenter. We're going to give them this through a SaaS portal across all their sites, and it's included with the maintenance that they have when they purchase maintenance on the HPE SimpliVity node. No extra agents or costs required. So one-click cluster upgrade. This continues the day 2 and beyond simplification story, allowing customers to simplify updates, patches, upgrades, and we're delivering this through an orchestrated fashion where it simply updates the firmware on the HPE ProLiant, the hypervisor, ESXi, as well as the SimpliVity software stack through one upgrade. And it could be set across all your clusters. You hit the button and it goes, and it's going to non-disruptively and efficiently upgrade your in-cluster data centers or even across sites. On the efficiency pillar, showing how we allow customers to do more with less, we give them remarkable 90% capacity savings guaranteed through our data services, allowing them to save on primary and backup on a SimpliVity node, and we're the only solution that dedupes, compresses, and optimizes inline, real-time, at inception, once and forever across the lifecycle of the data. As well, we guarantee through our built-in backup, we can gain new agility with rapid recovery and backup. 1 terabyte VMs recovered in 60 seconds, guaranteed. This gives them, a tremendous agility allowing them to address their business uptime requirements. Many customers say they have multiple solutions to back up their VMs, but when it comes to recovery, we're the recovery option of first choice. And we're announcing new enhancements. I'll talk to in the next slide how we're improving the backup. As well, we give you automation across the board to allow you to automate and gain additional efficiencies. So on the improvement, this is the news that's under embargo until next week. So please keep this quiet for now, but we're enhancing the backup capabilities within a HPE Federation today. We have SimpliVity to SimpliVity capabilities to back up in data center, across data center very efficiently. Many customers are using tape as a secondary media to offload backups to, but that incurs extra cost and other tools. What we're introducing now is a seamless way to institute Store Once as a secondary tier and benefiting from all the connectivity and automation provided by SimpliVity. So we give you a second media tier to leveraging automation, move VMs through our policy engine, 100% automated, into the Store Once tier based on policy. It gives you a cost-effective archiving tier to maintain your long-term VM backups. So the point is we're giving customers the rapid recovery ability off the SimpliVity tier to recover VMs fast, but also allow them to retain over monthly or yearly periods back. They can move their backups and efficiently save them on the Store Once tier. So you can extend your retention for years or beyond for compliance and reclaim space off the SimpliVity tier. That's the SLA without compromise. And we're hearing this today from many customers. They want an alternate tier as we go into more enterprises, as we expand our adoption. They're using other media to deliver an enterprise class data protection of 3, 2, 1, 3 copies of the data on 2 separate types of media, 1 offsite. This gives them the 2 in that 2 media types. They now can save their backups on SimpliVity Federation, but also save them on a secondary tier, namely Store Once, but do it efficiently. Okay, so we don't require, some customers might be doing this today with using third-party tools, Veeam or a third-party copy service engine. What we're saying is we've integrated Store Once now. It'll appear as external storage in our SimpliVity environment, and you can set up policies to literally back up into the Store Once. And it goes through the Catalyst API. There's been tight integration, eliminating the need for third-party tools to do this function. So yes, it's fully integrated, fully seamless, and you can do 3-click backups just as you would today. And you just define the destination instead of a data center. It's this Store Once location. And that can all be done through our policy engines, creating simple rules to define those policies. And then recovery as well can be driven through vCenter. You would just target the restoral from the Store Once environment, and that'll pull it back from Store Once into the SimpliVity tier.
Okay, so once we have that Store Once integration, we're going to be able to add your Store Once device as a target within the SimpliVity policy. So today we have a drop-down so you can choose which SimpliVity cluster you want to point those backups at as part of the policy. With this integration, your Store Once device will be in that drop-down list. So you can pick to push your backups to a Store Once instead of a SimpliVity cluster. When that does it, we're going to use the Catalyst engine as part of the Store Once to convert the SimpliVity image into a Store Once compatible image. So it will still have the target and information within the SimpliVity policy to be able to search. But at that point, it is not a SimpliVity image anymore. It's native to the Store Once device. So it's not using SimpliVity's dedupe and compression when it leaves the box, but we're still keeping track of it as far as a data point and a backup within our infrastructure.
When you do a restore, is there any conversion back?
Yes, if you do a restore from the store once back into SimpliVity, it will convert it back in.
Can you use other targets, like maybe you have a large synergy and you're doing a hub and spoke architecture?
Within this, no. It will still require a store once engine and target for that. As a part of the follow-up, the first step is going to be getting it to the store once. After that, then we're going to be able to leverage that cloud bank to push those backups from the store once up into your cloud.
So just to be clear then, so you lose the dedupe.
You lose the SimpliVity dedupe, but then you get the store once dedupe for that.
Okay.
So it's a different frame of reference.
So
when
you're rehydrating it to send it to store
Correct.
once, and then store
Correct.
once is.
Well, the nice part is that Catalyst engine is going to be able to do source side dedupe from the SimpliVity box. So it's going to be converted and then sent again to that. So you're leaving that frame of reference from a dedupe capability, but you're introducing it into a completely separate media stack as the store one. So it's leaving that media stack and going to something else. So that's something that we haven't had, and now we do. We will.
Does store once, does that support multi-tenancy?
Yeah, it depends on how the stores are provisioned on the back end for that.
Yeah, and when we talk about store once capabilities, one of the other things I wanted to highlight here is Catalyst is essentially the data mover for store once. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Catalyst, I encourage you to go look at Calvin's whiteboard on it. It's an extremely, extremely efficient data mover. So what you're going to get from a compression and deduplication savings just by moving the data into store once is pretty extreme. It's something that HPE has done very well. It's also encrypted, so once it lands on store once, it's encrypted as well. Yes?
You mentioned Catalyst. Correct me, my understanding, does that require fiber channel?
So I'm not sure about how you're moving the data here. Normally it doesn't. So I don't know how you've implemented it in
Yeah, going from the SimpliVity, it should not require a fiber channel connection.
So it's leveraging TCP/IP, 10
Correct.
gig, 25
Yes,
gig.
correct. To get from the SimpliVity into store once.
As far as I know, this isn't a direct attach type
Okay, great.
solution.
Perfect.
Correct.
Thank you.
Management software to control all this, is that going to be rolled into the SimpliVity?
Right. The export and import from SimpliVity store once will be through the SimpliVity policy engine. So
Okay.
we'll be able to manage that export from SimpliVity, and then if you want to rehydrate back in, that will be all from SimpliVity back in. Once it lands into store once, like I said, you can move it somewhere else, like into the cloud or whatever, and that would be a store once policy from
makes
that
sense.
side.
And so then the next question is, are we going to continue to leverage the Omni cards for the SimpliVity side dedupe and all those functions? And I don't want you to give away.
That's an NDA thing that,
Sure.
yeah, we may need to talk later.
We'll talk later.
This is exciting. Thank you.
But
Okay.
All right.
Do you have another question?
any other questions? Yes.
Offered as a service or like with a consumption model? Or,
Oh, yes. Everything that we're doing is part of GreenLake, so that's definitely added in, which it seems kind of weird from an HPE standpoint. I wouldn't want to swim in a GreenLake personally, but from a consumption model, it's a great product that kind of has a weird name.
It's Bloom.
All right.
All right, Chuck.
Chuck, back to
Still
you.
there?
So I know we're just about out of time, but this was the big news item we wanted to make sure everyone at Tech Field Day heard. A, the InfoSight news. B, the one-click cluster upgrade, which is a cool new enhancement. And C, this new capability with improving and extending our built-in backups with store once.
So the biggest takeaway of the store once announcement is the fact that we now have the ability to natively, through SimpliVity, move backups off of SimpliVity. We've always done well moving backups between SimpliVity clusters. And because they're separate independent RAID sets and different clusters, it's a separation of media type, sort of, but it's not on a completely different platform. We've leveraged hard with using Veeam integration to move it out of SimpliVity onto something else, but that's not native to what we're doing. This gives us a native capability to separate that back up to a different platform, which once it's there, you can really do anything you want with it. I mean, if it's a backup in a store once device, you don't have to use SimpliVity to get that VM back. It's an independent store once backup, essentially.
Does the store once have connectivity to cloud volume?
Maybe. I don't think it's coming in the first iteration.
It has a similar solution. If you're asking, can you move a
Tiered storage, I want long term.
so there's something called Cloud Bank that
Yes.
that RMC supports, that we can move data that's from a store once into the cloud. It's a public cloud, just object-based storage. I don't know
Whether that's going
for SimpliVity.
whether that's going to be available in this release,
Yeah, I don't
which
know. I haven't
is
heard
the
that.
Could be a roadmap.
which is the release that's due out in. I mean, we're announcing it, but it's going to be available in the December firmware update. Don't know if Cloud Bank's going to be available on that. It was supposed to come out in September, and it wound up getting pushed because it wasn't baked fully. Didn't have some of the integration, so it's going to December. That's why the announcement's here. We were always intending to add Cloud Bank in a second phase. I don't know if they're merging it there or not. Last I talked with product managers, it was still, they hadn't decided yet. But if it doesn't come then, it'll be available in that next quarterly release. So if it's not initial, it'll be on that first follow-up to have that ability. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is, well, for what it's worth, we actually just today released the on-premise IT Roundtable podcast, and the discussion topic was you shouldn't store your backup data on the same code base and platform as your primary storage. So this is pretty timely with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been something that, as a SimpliVity guy for 5 years or so, we've kind of danced around it, saying, well, it's a different RAID set.
I've been arguing with you about this for years, so this is great.
I'm not disagreeing.
Well, what I see really cool about this is the InfoSight is going to give you a lot of analytics to solve a problem that customers have today. They're consuming for backups.
Correct.
Don't know where the placement of the data is and such like that.
Absolutely. And we're getting that
Feedback, I'm sure.
feedback, and it's some of the betas were pleasantly surprising on our side, because it kind of shows that how efficient we are in storing the VM and the backup, and what the consumption rates are going to be, et cetera. And I'll get a little bit more into that when it's my turn up, just to show you some of the metrics we're getting, which is really cool.
Cool.
So do you see service providers eventually offering the ability to back up as a service, or?
We've had, pre-HPE, we had a couple service providers that were doing SimpliVity as a service, because that would give them an ability to basically lease out a SimpliVity cluster as a target in one of their data centers. Today, SimpliVity is not multi-tenant. So a node has to be in a federation, can't be in multiple federations, and we can only back up within a federation. So, could we have like a target where it was just a provider could just be a SimpliVity target for a lot of people? Not with SimpliVity. With store once integration, you never know. I'm not sure how that's going to work on the back end, but it gives us not only a way to move to a different media set, we're now piggybacking on all the store once capabilities for extending that.